Last up for this worksheet is topic 4, which is problem solving. So a lot of times if you see problem solving or applications, you'll frequently see word problems. So that's what we're going to look at here. So for example 5, it says solve each problem, include correct units with each answer. So for part A, it says you bought groceries that totaled $52.78. How much change will you receive if you give the cashier a $100 bill? So a lot of times you need to get in the habit of writing a model with your problem. So the model is just the math problem that you need to solve. So in this case, we give the cashier a $100 bill. Our total came to 52.78. So what is the cash register going to tell the cashier to give you back? Okay. So we have 100 minus 52.78. And remember, you can turn a whole number into a decimal by just adding a decimal point and a series of zeros at the end. Okay. So I went ahead and added 2 zeros here since I have 2 decimal places and 52.78. I need a number to subtract each digit from. Okay. So let's go ahead and start subtracting column by column now. If you didn't hate me in the previous examples, this is the one that's going to make you really test your faith in me. We're going to have to do a lot of borrowing, okay? So I need to take 8 from 0, but I can't. And I can't borrow from the 0, the 0, the 0, so I have an issue. So when you have a series of zeros like this, go to the first non-zero digit. So our first non-zero digit is 1. So the 1 becomes a 0, and then the 0 directly beside it becomes a 10. Well, I'm still stuck. So I still can't take 8 from 0. I can't borrow from 0 or 0, but I can borrow from 10. So 10 becomes 9, and then the next 0 becomes a 10, which still doesn't help me. So I need to borrow again from the new 10. So the new 10 becomes a 9, and the next 0 becomes a 10, which still hasn't helped me, but I can borrow from the new 10. So the new 10 becomes a 9, and finally my last 10 or my last 0 becomes a 10. So when you have a situation like this where you have a series of zeros in a row, the last 0 becomes a 10, all of the middle zeros become 9, and then just don't forget to borrow from your first non-zero digit. So now we can subtract, okay? So let's see here. 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 7 is 2. Drop down your decimal. 9 minus 2 is 7. And then 9 minus 5 is 4. So when I do this subtraction, or the cashier's register does this subtraction, we get that the change that you should receive is $47.22. Okay? Now, for part B, it says your checking account has a balance of $862.78. How much will be left in the account after paying bills, which total $612.39? Okay. Well, we want to write a model to represent this situation. So remember, the model is just the math problem that we need to solve. So we have a balance of $862.78. We have bills that total $612.39. So we know when we're paying bills, we're unfortunately reducing our bank account. So we want to subtract. So we're going to subtract $612.39. Okay. And I'm going to go off to the side to do the side work. So I get 862.78 minus 612.39. We've got our decimal points lined up, and we can subtract column by column. And I must be really wanting y'all to know how to borrow, because here we go again. Okay. I cannot take 9 from 8, but I can borrow from the 7. So 7 becomes 6, and then 8 becomes 18. Now, 18 minus 9 is 9. And then 6 minus 3 is 3. Drop down your decimal. 2 minus 2 is 0. 6 minus 1 is 5. And 8 minus 6 is 2. So the balance in the bank account is going to be $250.39. Make sure at the very least you put the dollar sign with both of these values for part A and part B. I find it can be even better if you put a little description with your answer. So for me, I would really love to see $47.22 is the change you receive. Okay, and then I could say $250.39 is the balance in your account. So at the very least, minimum, you have to have a dollar sign with your answers. But if you can describe your answer, to me, that's even better. Okay, so that's it. Problem solving with adding and subtracting decimals. Hopefully you didn't think this was too bad.